Married men will approach you and lie their freaking asses off. Because the truth be told, like the right person, it should feel like you have another engine added to your life. It shouldn't feel like you just lost a kidney when you get a slap in the face while you would turn the other cheek.
Because of Jesus.
Do you want to party? Who it up, she baby? I won't tell nobody. 내가 널 지켜줄게 however you want it, my dear. Do you want to party? Who it up, she baby? I won't tell nobody. 내가 널 지켜줄게 however you want it, my dear.
Welcome back! Wow.
I know. It feels like, okay, for you guys, it's another week, another episode, but we've taken like a month off.
Yeah, it's been a month.
It's been a month since we last recorded. Our last recording was the episode 7, the Q&A.
Yeah, which has not came out yet.
No. Well, if they're watching this, it technically came out last week. But for us, it hasn't came out yet.
Yeah.
We got really real in these last few episodes. So
it's been fun. I have enjoyed the response that we've been receiving from the episode. So I think that's been great.
Yeah.
The feedback, love it. So keep it coming.
Yeah, I love that. And I love that randomly people will, in the middle of a conversation, be like, by the way, like this episode really made me think about this. Or I felt like this really spoke to me where I'm at in life right now. And then we had a few people send us their personality quiz results. So like,
shout out to those who actually took the test.
Yeah. And like do more things we tell you to do, because then maybe we could get sponsored. So yeah, we're going to think of more interesting out of the box ideas. Like I said, we did that with the purpose of you guys getting to know us getting to know each other better, and just like evaluating where we are in life and if that actually aligns. And it did, which is crazy. But hearing how other people were motivated to do the same, that made it even better. And people sharing with us, like they took both quizzes too. Like y'all really invested $199 twice. Like I appreciate that. That was great. So this last month, like since we've been off, a lot's been happening. Like 5,000 graduations, a graduation party, birthdays, so much. Like so many things to be proud of and just enjoy, and being able to like share like, wow, these are going to be memories we're going to look back on in our 40s, right? Which brings us to what we're going to talk about today. So when we did the Q&A, there was one question that we forgot to answer, not on purpose, but then we realized it kind of worked out, because I feel like that is a question we weren't going to be able to answer like quick. It needed a whole episode in itself. So shout out to Sophia. But she asked
one of my favorite questions, actually.
She's always good with the questions. Like anytime she's wonderful. So the question was essentially like, what are some life lessons and things you learned about yourself in your 20s as a woman and navigating life? And so that's such a loaded question. That's going to be our episode today.
Yeah.
There's so much.
Lessons in our 20s.
Lessons in our 20s.
Which I already know this is going to be a great episode, because, again, you guys are going to get to know more about us. But also because we had completely different experiences in our 20s. So that's actually what I'm most excited about. Tati talking about her lessons, me talking about mine, and then just you as the audience and the viewer kind of getting to see or hear things that you might be going through, or you might have already went through as well. So you might or may not, but identify yourself with some of the things that we're gonna talk about.
Absolutely. Where do you want to start? So like when I was thinking about this question, I thought about it in categories, because that's the way my brain works. How did you think about it when you thought of like immediately lessons from your 20s?
I just wrote down, I kid you not, I didn't like write them in categories, but honestly, there is stuff, there is like personal, for me it was a lot of personal, but there's also some like mental, like more like career, or like if you're in a career or you're going to school, like it fits into that category.
Okay.
So that's kind of how I only have two. It's either personal or is that.
Okay, girl, she has two. I'm just going to say my categories: social life, love, dating, and toxic relationships, family, who I am as a woman, etiquette in class, party planning. That's, yeah. Career and purpose, money.
Okay.
Those
Yeah,
are
my
mine.
personal includes relationships, friendships.
So do you want to start there? You want to start personal, or do you
Let's
want to
leave
save
personal
personal for last? Okay, so let's start with like career and purpose.
Yes.
Okay.
Let's do career purpose.
So since mine is more like of a list, I'll read my list.
Yeah.
And then if there's anything like we could talk about related. So the first one I said, hard work matters, but relationships matter too. I think for so long in your 20s, you think like, I just have to work hard and prove to people I'm good, I'm valuable. But also you have to think you're spending so much time wherever your place of employment is. It's important to build relationships, because later you'll realize a lot of those relationships and the way you show up for people can help you grow inside and outside that field, right? So that's one. I have success without balance feels empty. You could be super successful and amazing at what you do in your job, but then when you leave your job, what do you really have? Opportunities often come from showing up consistently. Comparison kills creativity. And being talented is great, but being dependable is better. So those are a lot of my lessons from the 20s.
I love that.
Because like I was a young teacher. So
Yes.
I just turned 22 when I
you
started
went into it
teaching.
right
I was
away.
21 student teaching, and I was already teaching. So I almost felt like I had to prove myself, that not only like to the students, but like to my fellow like coworkers and admin. I'm young, but like I take this job serious. I'm passionate, and like I take all the knowledge I've learned and my teaching philosophy, and I really apply it practically in ways that are relevant and can help students. Because when you come in looking young, they're kind of just like, who's this young girl? You look like us. And I was only like 3 years older than the seniors, which is
Crazy.
kind of wild. But yeah, so all of those I think stemmed from just teaching and taking on like other jobs, and just learning like clocking in and clocking out is not enough. You cannot rely on just your job to feel like you made it or you feel good about who you are. I think it's a great step to be like, wow, I worked so hard, I landed this position. But it's more about the relationships and how you characterize yourself through your actions in that space and outside of that space. Yeah.
Wow.
So dramatic.
It's just, man, mine, I have bags to unpack.
Let's go.
So I'm going to go into that category.
Yeah.
So I'm going to start with, okay, I'm going to leave that for personal. It's okay if you're still figuring out what you want to do, but don't stay in one place too long. Try new things, gain new skills, move around so that you can figure out what you like and what you don't like, what you're good at versus what you need to work on. And then this will help you narrow down options, hopefully. And I say this because I used to, when I was in college, about my junior year, I think, I used to be in this job that I think I stayed in way too long. And when you're young and you have like your first job and you get used to that income, it can be hard or challenging to try to move around because you're kind of dependent on that income that you're getting, especially if it's like a little bit good compared to like the rest of like minimum wage jobs that you can get, right? So at that time, like what I had wasn't minimum wage. It was a little bit above. So I was used to that income. But I think staying in that, looking back in hindsight now, staying in that job for too long, I think was not good. It was not a good decision financially, like in any category that you can think of. I don't think it was a really good decision for me at all. So if anything, I think I wasted too much time because I could have been gaining new skills and gaining more relevant experience elsewhere while I was young than being in that job that wasn't even good. It didn't give me good benefits. It just didn't have mobility. It just didn't have the opportunities that I really was looking for. But I think I got complacent and I was
You're comfortable.
too comfortable. And I was also lost. So I was trying to figure myself out in the process. My second one is going to be go to school or learn a skill or service. Develop your skill sets in your 20s. Be a tool. Be a sponge. Be teachable and be coachable.
1,000%.
So I say that also to say, because I used to be a little, not to say I was a know-it-all, but I wasn't very coachable or very teachable because I was a little cocky at times. And I think I thought that I knew more than what I actually knew, or that I knew everything. So again, like those things can actually hinder you. And I think when you're in your 20s, when you're doing really well for yourself, it's easy for that to get to your head and like give you a false sense of worth.
True.
And you really like, I think competency is the best tool and the best way for you to back up who you really are. So that's one. School might not be for everyone. So if school is not a thing for you, learn a skill, learn a trade, go and do an avenue so that you are just not like we're going to call it wasting time. I mean, everybody has a different timeline, but you want to make sure like that you are gaining something.
I mean,
so that you can be useful.
And let's be real. If we think about science, your frontal lobe is not fully developed till you're about 24. People say 21. It's actually like 24. So your 20s is the perfect time to bring in and try new things and get all this information and be a sponge. Your 20s is the best time. It's like prime time, because in your younger years, in your adolescence, you're in school, you're learning about a whole bunch of things, and most of it don't interest you. And it's always that like, how am I going to use this in life? But in your 20s, you have that freedom to say, this is what I want. You have the choice to decide what is a skill, what's an interest, what's a trade that you can see yourself doing well in, or it's just something you want to explore. It's not like you're in school and you have to go to 7 classes a day. You have the authorship and you have the creative ability to be like, I always like this. I want to try engineering, right? Like, yeah.
And to that point, say that you are going to school and you don't like what you're doing. Like sometimes we put this timeline in our head, like, I used to have that, and I was like, I have to graduate when I'm this age.
Yeah.
And
same.
Luckily for me, even when I switched majors and stuff, I was able to just find something where I could just pick up exactly where I left off, and I didn't have to, I wasn't too behind. Yeah. But it doesn't matter if it puts you behind a year or two, because you're young. Yeah. And so you don't want to make a mistake to graduate with something that you're probably never going to use. And so take that extra time and like invest it, and it's fine. Like, honestly, it's fine. You're going to be okay.
Especially
the timeline is
if you're
not
paying
real
for school.
Yes.
Like, you know, if you are not happy with what you're doing, what are you spending your money on? At least make the investment worth it. And if it's another year, at least you know those classes are valuable. Yeah. And later you'll see the outcome.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Save your money, invest, get a life insurance policy as young and as soon as you can while you're completely healthy. Yep. I got life insurance when I was, I think, like 22, 23. And honestly, like, I'm about to get another one. So I would say, especially now that we have internet, we have social media, like, I wish we had this type of like tools when we were coming up and we were growing up, because I didn't know about so many things when I was younger. I had like zero, and I still don't, right? But I had zero financial literacy. Yeah. Nobody around me like knew much. Right. And we didn't have a network of people to also give us information. So you're now, most of you who are in like early 20s, you have everything at your fingertips. Take advantage of it. Second to that is luxury items can wait. Ooh. The flex isn't what you think it is. It's not what you can show off. It's how you live, your finances, and your mindset.
Oh, I'm my two for money. I'm just gonna say them just because they go right off of that. Looking rich and being financially stable are different things. And like obviously there's one answer that should be very clear which one you should prioritize. But I think because people see the girls with the Louboutin bags and the Prada shoes, people think like, oh, they're rich. No, do you have as much money as that bag is that you could drop in cash right then and there? If you don't, let's be real. And half the time they're probably gifted from somebody. And if you don't have that money in the bag, you don't need the bag. And then invest in experiences, but also invest in your future. So it's like, yeah, it shouldn't. I don't believe in being like the rich, cheap person either, where it's like I have all this money and it's for the future and I'm just going to live a very fruitful life. I'm not saying do that either. You need to have life experiences that life is short, but also don't be careless with your money. Your future is so important.
Yeah. Next is going to be you have time, but also don't waste time. Work with intention, network, build that network, build relationships with different types of people who are succeeding or successful at what they do. Build relationships with people who do different things than what you do. They will help you expand your horizons and they will give you tools and potentially put you in better positions. To that, I also say don't burn bridges.
Period.
Because
you never know who
you
could be your boss.
really know. Yeah, life is like a circus sometimes. And then that kind of goes with what you said, but I said travel, spend your money in experiences, not luxury items. So we had very similar to that.
I rather have a great trip than one pair of shoes.
I do have one more too, and this is something that I learned recently. Find a mentor. So if you're kind of in a stage where you're trying to figure out what's next for you, or you feel like you're kind of inadequate or in an inadequate space where you kind of don't know, find a mentor that can guide you and help you. Find someone who's actually wanting to and willing to teach you and give you information. Because a lot of the times, we were talking about this yesterday, we come across people that want to gatekeep all their information just because they had it hard. And then they're like, well, I struggled, so you should struggle too. And to each his own. But I think the real leaders and the people who I think will get probably more back is the people that want to help you, that are gonna give you information, who are not looking to get something out of you in return. Because I really truly do believe the more you give, the more you will receive. It's not that you're giving to receive, but I really do think it comes back to you.
1,000%. I have a question for you regarding that. Who were your mentors in your 20s?
I didn't have.
Okay, me neither.
Yeah, I didn't have
So
one.
like for me, my mentors were my like mom and grandma. But like when I think of mentors,
Your
I think of
grandma's
people.
Hell of a mentor.
But when I think about mentors, I think about people outside of family. So that's why I ask you, because
I didn't have one.
I didn't have one in my 20s.
I still don't.
And here's the thing, like I would say, if I had to say I had a mentor, this is gonna sound funny. I feel like you know who I'm gonna say. I feel like it's Jackie.
No, yeah.
Like, because I feel like the way
she's amazing.
Our friendship developed was she was like a new teacher, but she came in with so much experience. But like, I was like, oh, she's so loud. Like, who is she? Right. But then we started like talking about like work stuff. And then we would get coffee. And then later we would talk about personal stuff. But like, I saw who she was professionally first before I saw anything personal. And I was like, wow, she's like really good at what she does. And just getting to know her on a professional level first, I respected her and admired her. So if there was ever somebody that I had a question, like I was like, oh, who would look at like my lesson plan, or who would this? She was the person. And what you said, like certain people could put you in positions. Well, she was always like, you need to be an IB, you need an IB, like you're a strong teacher, da da da. And it happened, right? And then more opportunities came. And she helped guide me in this new territory as far as like education and in my particular school and teaching an IB class. That's really where it started. And then we've traveled together, we've ran PDs, like it's been amazing. Things I didn't even know about or think I could do if it wasn't for her.
Yeah.
So that's why I would say she's like my mentor, and we always like tell each other like, you make me better.
Yeah,
like
I can see that.
I definitely feel like
Shout out
to Jackie. Like I definitely feel like if I had to pick like a mentor,
Yeah.
she's like the only one I could really think about.
Yeah, I'm gonna expand on mine because I said I don't have a mentor, which technically I don't, but that's not to say that I have not had
Right.
at some points in my life people who have guided me, because
Yeah.
I have, especially like in the past few years, like the person that hired me at the company that I currently am, like she was for the first 4 years like my mentor.
Yeah.
I would say, because I really do look up to her. Lily is like the smartest. She's very bright, she's very smart, she's witty,
Yeah.
she's resourceful, she knows so much, and she was one of those people that will not gatekeep any information.
Right.
Like she was more than willing to teach me whatever she wanted to teach me, and would vouch for me in rooms that like people didn't even know who I was, just to make sure, because she knew that I wanted more. So for her it was like, well, I think she's ready and I think she could do this, and I'm gonna throw her name out there so she can potentially be in a better position to you know, become better. And like in that, and it worked out that way, and
Absolutely.
it was you know, it was great. And now that I kind of branched out and I'm doing something different, because we're in completely different departments and we're doing completely different things. Right now, present time, I wouldn't say that I have a mentor for that reason.
Right.
Not that I haven't had people mentor me. I
Right.
think, to be honest,
Yeah.
back to our early 20s, my first mentor, this is probably bad, was actually someone that I was like romantically
Okay. I remember.
involved with.
Yeah.
And I would say, even though
Juicy.
there was a lot there professionally,
Yeah.
that experience taught me so much, because professionally he was
Yeah.
very like smart. He was like a planner. He was like very like organized. He was a visionary, and then like he would have great ideas. So I feel like, in a way, part of the reason I think, and I was very young, like I'm talking about like 21, 22. I was very young. And so part of the reason why I think I was like so romantically like drawn to him is because he had all these characteristics as a man, and like in the way he worked, that I really admire, and I look up to him, and he could teach me things, and he did. So do I recommend it? No. I do not recommend.
Have some boundaries.
Yes, I do not recommend. I would actually recommend leave work at work and personal life very separate. I think I have a hard time trying to marry the two together.
Yeah.
Because I've always been very like, no, it's one or the other. It's never both. So now I only do it with people that have become close to me, where that's where I'm married to. But I do not recommend.
Yeah. Okay. So that was our lessons from our 20s surrounding like money, career. Let's get into the personal stuff.
Okay. I'm going to start this one.
Yeah, that's why I looked at you.
You will lose and outgrow friends. Get used to it.
I said that.
Start learning to let go of what no longer serves you, holds you back, or aligns with your goals. Okay. To this, I'm going to expand and just say, learn how to detach from the results early on. The reason why I say this is because sometimes just having very little expectations is actually going to save you from a lot of like low value situations, or a lot of like, I wouldn't say heartbreak, but a lot of like your feelings getting hurt because people are not thinking the way you think, or acting the way you would act, or don't think about you the way that you would think about them. The consideration, sometimes it doesn't go both ways, but we have to learn, like, people, they're not us. Okay. Take care of your health and your body. Don't get fat.
And if you think you're gonna get smarter, you will, but you might get fatter too.
To this I say also, because I've always been an athlete. I was an athlete growing up, and then that little job that I mentioned earlier, that job actually kept me fit, because I had to be fit So in my mind, I never really thought about health in a way where it was like, this is something I have to do. It was something that I enjoyed doing.
Correct.
I had to be physically fit and physically active. Where I started noticing the shift is once I let that go, then I actually didn't know how to balance having a real, we're going to call it a real job, because that job felt like fun.
Yeah.
Where I don't think it taught me any skills, to be honest. That's why I say I should have let it go a long time ago. But when I got a corporate job, I did have a hard time finding balance between social life, my personal life, and then work. I always just put work first, to be honest. And the episode we drop, I talk about now how I put me first over my job. And that's because over the years, I've just learned that having a strong work ethic is amazing. But at the same time, I know that when somebody loses their job or you have you get replaced like right away. That is actually why I said I would never put work first, and I would put my own feelings. It's really not my own feelings. It's just like I would put me over a job. Like I missed my mom's surgery when she had cancer when I was at this job because somebody that didn't let me go. Do you think that now that is something that I will put up with? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Moving on.
I want to add to something you said, because I feel like a lot of what you have, it's repetitive. I said your circle gets smaller, but your relationships get deeper. And I said being popular and being loved are not the same thing. And that's a huge one for me. Like a huge, like when I say, I think that's like one of the biggest ones for me. And I'm going to say it again. Being popular is not the same as being loved. It's not the same thing. You could be in a room with 30 people and everybody's like, Tati, Tati. But out of those 30 people, I maybe only like 3 are like the ones that like
would fight for you,
would love you, would protect your name inside and outside of the room. Yeah. And I think my 20s I was so social. I mean, I'm still social, don't get me wrong, but like I'm social, but I know the difference between these are my acquaintances, these are people I enjoy, my friends or people for a reason versus a season. And in my 20s, I was just happy to be around people and do things. And I loved recognition, and I loved performing, quite literally performing, dancing, and a lot of the people around me were just a good time. But it took my 20s to learn that, and even the beginning of my 30s, if I'm being very honest, like there was not love there, not real authentic love, you know? And it's okay. Love. It was transactional. And I don't even know if it was love, just transactional. So yeah, just don't mistake popularity for love. That's a big one. I'm trying to see if I have anything else similar to yours. Some people only like the version of you they could benefit from. What can you do for them? What rooms, what spaces can they get into because of you? And like, I'm not a gatekeeper.
Or they would like the damaged version of you and the broken version of you.
Yep. And this is something I learned early on, but like I'm acting on it now in my 30s, if that makes sense. It's like I always knew it, but I didn't want to face it because I didn't want to have FOMO. But it was protecting your peace sometimes means missing the party. Right? And this goes back to something I said a long time ago, keep your friends close and enemies closer. And I was like, no, my enemies don't need to be around me. But sometimes I was like, it's okay, I'll be around my enemies because like I want to be at the party. Yeah. But it's like, why? There's not really people at the party that love you. So, yeah, those are mine. And then, there was one more. Sorry. It's okay. It was don't give people a second chance to clown you. Take the L the first time and then move on. Child. Yeah, those are mine. So I feel like those kind of are close to what you had.
I never really understood when you get a slap in the face why you would turn the other cheek.
Because of Jesus.
Apparently I ain't got enough of that.
Yeah, I was too.
Because I slap back.
Yeah, no, I could take it to hell and I never do.
Maybe I did take it to hell. That was one of the best things. my 20s, I took it to hell. And I'm glad I did, because now in my 30s, I have so much self-control where I won't take it to hell. Like now I'm actually like very grounded and very like, like I'm very much like I can control my emotions. But when I was in my 20s, I was very reactive, but that's actually not the word. Impulsive.
Oh yeah.
My impulsivity was on another level. It probably should have been studied.
Yeah, I think I never took it to hell because I didn't want people to think they had that control over me. And two, now in my 30s, I just don't put myself in a position where I would have to take it to hell.
Correct. That's
really what it is now.
I agree. I would not. I don't put myself around people or positions that are even gonna bring that out of me, because I'm like, no, I don't need to give anybody that power. Nope. But when I was in my 20s, I think the part of the reactiveness and the impulsivity is because like at some point in my life, I felt like I didn't have a voice. Yeah. So I might not be very good with my words, but I've always been a person of action. So take that as you will. Okay. You don't have to learn only through making mistakes. If you can avoid the mistakes by being smart, avoid. Abort mission. Work smarter, not harder. Save yourself the heartbreak. One mistake can change the entire course of your life. So think very thoroughly about your decisions. Yeah. I actually, in my 20s, I remember this thing being like pushed so hard, and it was like, you only live once. And it's like, oh, we are young. Like, like it was more like make the mistakes while you were young. Like, this is why you're young. Being young is about making mistakes, and like it's okay. And I'm not really going against that, but I will say that I think what I said is very true. If you can avoid it, 100%, you don't have to learn just by making the mistakes. At the same time, it's like a mistake is a choice that you make once, and it turned out to be not what you thought it was going to be. That's a mistake. I didn't know any better. Yeah. But once you know better, you continue making the same type of...
It's the definition of insanity, doing the same things.
Then they're choices. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it just really... It's not going to get you anywhere. It's going to... I feel like it's going to deter you from your goals. It's just going to sidetrack you. It's going to give you the heartbreak that you could have avoided, because probably who you were being crazy about or crying over, he's ugly anyway. Like,
So let's move into love.
Yeah, I was going to say this next one.
On that note, okay, I'll go first because I don't have a lot for this one. I have 3 for this one.
Put your seatbelts on with me.
Yeah. My first one is, if someone tells you something about them, believe them. Especially if it's something negative and they're like, I'm this. Believe them. Don't try to change them. Don't try to change them.
Believe them the first time.
Okay. Now, if they tell you like, I'm the best you're ever going to have, like that one, don't believe what they say. But if they're being very transparent, I'm insecure, I'm jealous, or I have trust issues, don't think I'm different, I could change them. You can't. You'll probably make it worse if you were like me. Anyway, but that's my fault too. Anyway. The second one, the right person will bring you peace, not constant anxiety. I don't think I need to elaborate on that. If you are in your 20s, you don't even have to be in your 20s. Whoever you are watching this, if you're in a relationship and you have anxiety when you see their name come up on your phone, or you're nervous, or you have to hide where you're going, or should I go here? Should I not go here? Oh my God, am I going to get in trouble? And you have that anxiety, that person is not for you. That is not a safe space. Yeah. Mentally, you're not safe with yourself. Emotionally, get out now. Which brings me to my last one. Walking away can be the most loving thing you do for yourself. And it's hard. It's very hard. And this doesn't just have to be relationships. Like love relationships. This is friendships, anything. Like she said, from a job, whatever. Walking away is like a love letter to yourself. It's very hard, but you are saving yourself mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically. So do it. Sooner the better. Those are mine. Those are my 3. That's it.
Yeah.
Because, like, fortunately for me, my
She was
20s.
focused on the right things when she was in her 20s.
Yeah, in my 20s, I wasn't, like, I didn't have, like, a lot of, I only had one toxic relationship, really. But I know I attribute it to that because I met toxic with toxic. I was the bet, you know, which don't become that person. Just walk away. You don't have to meet them at that crazy. Don't meet them at crazy, y'all. It's not worth it.
Yeah.
It's not. But other than that, like I was chilling my early 20s. Like
Yeah.
I was.
This is why I say, like, our 20s were completely
Yeah.
different.
Yeah.
Our early 20s.
Right,
Because,
right.
you know, by the time we kind of came together, we were walking into our late 20s. So
Yeah.
a lot of, like, the craziness of the early 20s was missed.
Yeah, it was when we were 24 is when we got close. I remember
so-
because you were at my birthday party.
To give y'all, because I'm gonna go over these items, just to give y'all a little bit of context as to what was going on with me in my 20s. I was going through a lot, personally, emotionally. By the way, side note, something is wrong with me because I am just so emotional. I don't know what bug bit me. Today's an emotional day, but I just been emotional in general. Yeah. So if you see a tear, whatever, just ignore me.
And I'm emotional
Just
too,
keep
so
going.
I'll probably
Ignore
cry
me.
with her.
Ignore me. It's just like, let me be.
I'll cry with her.
whatever.
I'm an empath.
I swear I don't cry like this on a daily basis. It's just something about this podcast.
Can I be
it's
honest?
Like therapy to myself.
Isn't that what, like,
and to be honest,
what
too,
friendships can do though? Friendships could be therapy. Good friendships, healthy friendships,
healthy ones.
And that's what brought us to have this podcast, because we would be on FaceTime for hours and hours, Fiamma on the toilet, me in the bathtub, just having therapy with each other. And that's how it became.
It's
Can
true.
I be
I
honest?
was really 99% of the time they FaceTime me. I'm in
and
the
then
toilet.
I'm taking a bubble bath.
Yeah.
But go ahead.
But I think talking about some of the things that I've been through that were really hard for me are therapeutic for me because I don't talk about it. So talking releases whatever needs to be released, and I don't talk. Like, that's my thing. I'm not very, like, verbal. So it's very, you guys are getting the best of the best because I'm actually talking. I'm willingly talking about it. So yeah, I was young. I was going through a lot. I needed to work through a lot of darkness that I had inside me. I think most of it I wasn't even aware that I had. There was like a lot of damage, and there was like a lot of brokenness that I was dealing with that I didn't even know I had. Because I remember my early 20s. One, I thought I was invincible. I thought I knew everything. You couldn't tell me nothing. At the same time, I didn't have a good support system. Not because I didn't have a good support system at home. It's because I didn't utilize it. Because I was running away from it. Not because it was never given to me. It was always there. I was so desensitized and so detached from reality that I was self-sabotaging all of my early 20s. That is all I did. I put myself in positions that were not good for me. I put myself in positions and places around people that didn't have my best interests at heart, people that took advantage of me, people that wanted to take advantage of me, which is going to bring me to some of the points that I'm going to make. So please, I hope this doesn't trigger anyone, but if it does trigger you in some point, then, like, been the girl, get you some girlfriends, go to your family, make sure you have people that can hug you and protect you and give you advice and guide you in the right direction so you don't end up in places that you have no business being, or in like really low vibrational situations. So I'm going to start with self-esteem. Don't look for a man to give you self-esteem. Self-esteem is your job and your job only. If you're looking for your partner to fill that hole that you feel inside of you, then my opinion is she's just gonna become a codependent on that person. And when that person leaves you, you're gonna be going through withdrawals because your safety net is gone. And what are you gonna do? Self-sabotage some more. So if you are that person that struggles with self-esteem, I say this with a grain of salt because I know people that have therapists, and I don't know how honest they are with the therapist. I'm going to give Kourtney Kardashian as an example, because how many times do we see her on TV and she talks about her therapist all the time? And do I see growth from her? Not really. She's like low-key still kind of toxic. So
I guess you could say that she just wants to be a mom and eat dairy-free, gluten-free
which is okay, you know,
and
but
not dress in dresses and go to the club.
But like, you know, like I think therapy really works if you really wanted it to work. I did like a little bit of therapy myself. But I also have introspection or introversion. Which one is it?
I think introversion.
Introversion. When you're able to like look into yourself and
Or maybe it's the other one. Well, no.
I don't think it's introversion.
No, I think it's the other one.
Yeah. Actually, it is. Introversion is a fundamental personality trait characterized by a focus on one's internal thoughts, feelings, and ideas rather than seeking external stimulation. Well, either way, I've just always been able to like go deep and just like analyze my own bullshit. I have a saying that goes like, you can lie to the world, but don't fucking lie to yourself. Because if you're not honest with yourself, you're not going to be honest with anybody else. And so, and that to me, like just kind of translates to so many things. I have trust issues because I come from a lot of experiences where people like did a lot of things to me. So I always, part of like my survival skill was I had to learn patterns. And I'm really freaking good at catching the shit. Like nothing will go by me.
As the kids will say, she clocks it.
Yeah.
Clock it.
So yeah, the self-esteem, if you don't have it, find it. Don't rely on another person to give it to you. I do not recommend.
Can I really quick before you move on from self-esteem? We talked about this a little bit yesterday, like Alexa. And it comes down to family, right? Where they say like self-esteem actually comes from your father. Do you believe that?
I do. You know why? Because my mom, since I was little, has always pushed me to have high self-esteem. So the fact that I didn't have high self-esteem with my mom, that's all she ever did, was always something I couldn't. To this day, I'm like, well, why didn't it just, like, it should have been automatic.
Yeah.
And it wasn't. And it's part of the reason is probably because my dad. So do not feed into the propaganda that you don't need anyone or even a partner. For women, a man. Work on your goals and be open to the possibilities of building with someone whose goals align with yours. You might not have the man that is, especially if you're young in your early 20s, that got it all together. It doesn't mean that by the time he's 30, he's not going to have it all together. Like, this is going to bring me to this point. When you're younger, there's going to be a lot of older men that are going to be attracted to you and that you're going to be attracted to. Be careful. There's a reason why some of them are single. I'm not generalizing anyone when I say this, because some people are single and it's really nothing to do with them.
Yeah, like me.
They've had,
it's not me, I'm amazing.
You know, they've had like just shit kidding. Like everybody else. Yeah. Shit doesn't work out. Yeah. Maybe he's not ready. Maybe he's working on himself. Maybe he's going to therapy. Like, you know, like not everything. It's like, oh, if you're single, it's a red flag. No. No. But there are some men, especially older men, who, this is very specific to that category that are single for a reason, and they date super young women for a reason. They don't date an older woman because she's gonna clock his shit and call him out on his bullshit, and she's not gonna put up with all the fucking thing. Sorry, I'm trying not to cuss a lot. She's not gonna put up with all the behaviors and things that he's not willing to fix. And sometimes we are a mirror to somebody else, and when they look at themselves in that reflection, they don't like what they see back. So for the young ones, for the young women, if you're pretty, if you're young, be careful. Which brings me to my next point. Married men will approach you and lie their freaking asses off. Okay? Girl, don't do it. Do not trust your instincts because you're not even that well developed yet.
Frontal lobe.
Okay? You're not that well developed yet. Okay?
Okay.
I
feel like she's talking to me and I'm not even.
No, I'm talking to myself.
No, but I'm saying I feel I feel go ahead, girl.
Your instinct most likely is going to be based on your feelings and what's in your heart, and you will be wrong. If you still want to do it, make sure you're not the one losing the most. And this is not me encouraging anyone to do it, but also who am I to tell you what to do, right? So all I'm saying is, if you're going to do something that you know is probably wrong, that you shouldn't do, that you're most likely going to hide from your friends, because let's talk about it. If you're hiding anything from your friends, you know that you're doing something wrong in the first place.
Yeah.
And some people would say, well, I need to make my own decisions. Well, you made your own decision the moment that you thought that telling your friends would be a bad idea. So yeah, consciously, that was the moment you've made that decision. It was not about making your decisions. You made the decision. It's about you don't want anybody to tell you about what you're doing. Then call it that, right? So if you still want to do it, make sure you're not the one losing the most. Not saying it's okay, but everyone's moral compass is different. We make mistakes, and the important part is to learn so we don't make those same mistakes over and over again. Mistakes versus choices. Okay? Don't be a pick-me girl.
Oh, that's a good one.
Okay?
Never.
Be open. Don't become jaded. Don't close yourself off to love. If you get your heart broken, just learn from it, move on, take the lesson. Don't be a salty little bitch, Just don't let anybody rob you of your essence. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, girl, don't be dumb. Like, move smart. And don't be a pick-me girl.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody likes a pick-me girl.
No.
In a group of friends, nobody likes the pick-me girl.
No.
One, because she might quite literally go sleep with your man. She's gonna have no boundaries when it comes to men. I mean, let's be honest. We've had some pick-me girls at one point or the other, and it's hard to say that it won't happen.
One of the first ones that was, you're out.
Yeah. And so, work on that. Good friendships. Literally, we're women. We go through a lot of emotional turmoil, right? We're going to have low self-value at times. Sometimes we make those decisions based on the self-value that we have. Understandable. It's fine. But sometimes this is where having good people around you saves you, because those people can remind you, no, you're so much better than that. Mm-hmm. Don't do it. Why would you give this guy another chance when he hurt you and he cheated on you, mm-hmm. and he disrespected you and he got somebody pregnant behind your back and then he gave you an STD, or whatever the heck, whatever happened. Mm-hmm. My next point is learn to get tested often. Mm-hmm. Have protected sex. Mm-hmm. Learn to have protected sex.
Don't go off of dirty. What people say.
Yes, it is dirty out here. And if you don't learn as a woman how to take care of yourself, mm-hmm. and mm-hmm. how to take care of your body, nobody else will. Maybe you didn't have a mom or people in your life that might have taught you that. But we have the internet now. Mm-hmm. We have TikTok will literally give you all this information for free. Have a PCP, PCP is your primary care physician. Have a PCP. Hopefully you have a job that gives you insurance. Every 6 months, if you're not having sex, or however many partners you have a year, schedule your STD testing to be every 6 months. If you're super active, schedule it to be every
All
like
the
3
time.
months or every 2 months.
Yeah,
you know,
don't play.
just because also like
Don't play about your
if
health.
you go every month, the doctor will ask you, why are you coming back every
No,
month?
right. But like, don't play about your health.
But don't play. Like, have good hygiene. Like, if anything,
No,
don't smell right down there.
Know your body.
Go to the
your,
doctor.
You know your body more than anybody. Know your body. Yeah.
And I think the last one that I have for that is I love this one. Don't let men use you and suck up your youth. I think I can actually say this, where I think that I wasted my best years in relationships. I wasted my best years of youth because I was never out in the streets. Like, regardless of what people may think, I was always I'm a relationship girl.
Yeah, me too.
I love. I always wanted to be in relationships. When I was young, let me tell it, I was going to be married by 25. Like, that was my goal. I was going to have my kids by 30, and I was going to live in a white picket fence, and I was going to be happily ever after. Clearly, plans change. But I was always in relationships. Granted, all the wrong ones. I learned a lot. I learned a lot about people. I learned a lot about myself. I learned a lot about the fact that so many people failed me, because I remember this job that I had, and there was a lot of older women around me. And instead of them giving me advice or trying to like get to know me or even like help me out and be like, he's not good for you, they were the kind of women that would pit you against each other. They were the kind of women who were conniving. They were the kind of women who were jealous. They were the kind of women who literally were doing things that they weren't even supposed to be doing. So I probably was naive to think like, oh, somebody would have helped me out. But I could never do that to somebody else. If I see a young girl who's being taken advantage of, I would never just sit there and like talk shit behind her back.
Correct.
And not like try to do something to correct it. Granted, if she totally ignores me, it's like, you old bitch, get the fuck away from me. Yeah. It's a different story, right? Also, probably wouldn't have taken the advice because I was not very open as I was young. But doesn't mean that I wouldn't have appreciated now to have somebody do that for me. And the people actually that ended up doing that for me, I only recall 2 people when I was going to this turmoil of things that I went through. And I really do thank those 2 people who actually told me the truth to my face. Yeah. I think, like, I am so thankful that they came into my life. So that being said, like, have your fun, girls and boys, but be safe, be smart. Don't lose yourself. Don't stop your dreams for anybody. Yeah. Do not let somebody come by and be like, yeah, like, you can finish this later. No, I can't. I have to finish it now. Yeah. Because the truth be told, like, the right person shouldn't stop you from accomplishing.
No, if anything. They're pushing you. They're like, you got this. What can I do to help you? And it doesn't mean quite literally help you. It could just be like, does that mean I leave you alone for 3 hours? Does that mean I bring you coffee? Does that mean like you want me to send you motivational TikToks? Like, people will show up for you in the way they can if you allow them to.
Yeah, it should feel like you have another engine added to your life. Yeah. It shouldn't feel like now, like you just lost a kidney by being with somebody. That's probably not the relationship that you should probably be in. 1000%. If you feel like that kind of, tired or like you're missing out on anything. Because last point, when you're 20, I think that sometimes there's people that go through this stage where it's like, no, I gotta lock in and I can't give time to anything else except this because I have to lock in and I'm just not where I want to be yet, so I can't, like, I'm just gonna close the door to everything else. But you sometimes don't know what you can potentially be closing the door to, so don't be that person who just closes yourself off. Use this time to learn yourself and learn to make better choices.
100%. 2, I have, you don't have to shrink yourself to make others comfortable. I think going into something, again, we talked about yesterday, it's like people's perception of me. And I think it's not so much now. I think it was more in my 20s more than now. I think it was just this idea. Oh my God, everything, she's spoon fed. Everything's just given to her. She's a princess. And I say that because these are things people who I considered like my closest friends were saying about me. And so if something like great happened to me or an accomplishment or it's not, like I was hesitant to even share because I didn't want to feel like I was gloating, which I wasn't, but because it was almost like all these great things weren't happening for that other person, I wasn't allowed to share the great things with her because then it got turned around like, oh my God, here you go, princess. When I worked really hard for a lot of these things. So I feel like I had to learn in my 20s, like the people who love you and support you will be there to celebrate and clap with you, cry with you, and they'll never make you like make yourself feel small. Because I never want to make people feel small.
And to this, because we've talked about this before,
yeah,
it's not your fault
yeah.
that you have parents that love you. It's not
Yeah.
your fault that you have parents that wanted to give you the best. It's not your fault that your
Yeah.
circumstances are better than other people's circumstances. It's really not your fault. You're
Yeah.
lucky
Yeah.
to have this.
You know what's really messed up too? Like in my 20s, I would almost get like mad at my parents because I'm like, because like you guys are so involved in my life. Like people are talking shit about me. Like, oh, of course your parents are at your performance. Like, yeah, they like love to watch me do things. Like I'm and like now I'm like, yeah, save those seats for my parents.
Such a blessing.
It's such a blessing. And like I would let like comments from other people be like, of course your mommy's coming.
Because it wasn't cool.
It wasn't
but-
cool. And like I hate that. And that didn't stay with me a long time.
Yeah.
It was very short lived for me where I'd feel away. But now I'm like, reserve those seats for my parents.
Yeah.
Because they're coming. But anyway, and then the next one is self-respect attracts better opportunities than people-pleasing. And so I feel like by not falling into what everybody else wanted to do and just me trying to please people, I'll do this, I'll do that. Like I would say for the most part, I never did anything like really risky, right? This is where we're different. Like I was very scared of like doing anything wild because of my parents, if we're going to be very honest. But also like I didn't allow myself to be a people pleaser and do things because other people wanted me to do them. And I think that's not just friendships, but in general, like at a job or I just feel like I'm not going to do something because other people want me to do it and I want them to like me. I'm going to stand 10 toes on who I am and respect myself and my beliefs and what I will stand for and what I will not. And then people respect you more for it later. And it took me my 20s to learn that. And granted, I didn't have to do it often. That was something naturally I already had instilled in me. But this is advice for somebody who's a people pleaser. Like sometimes you standing on your 10 toes is actually going to bring you more opportunities and people are going to see like, oh, she's not easily swayed. Or he's not easily swayed. So this is somebody I want in this position because I know they'd be a great leader or they'll be a great collaborator because they'll be able to listen and then make decisions and not be swayed by somebody he say, she say.
I'm going to add something quick to that.
No, you're good.
Your insight could be potentially what sets you apart. And this is something that I actually, I don't want to use the word hate, but dislike a lot because I feel like a lot of times I'm in rooms full of yes people because nobody wants to be the difficult person.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to go against the status quo. And like that, it drives me insane because sometimes I'm listening to things that don't make sense. And I'm like, who? Why? Nobody's saying anything. So you meant to tell me that this whole group of people came and built this and nobody had anything to say against why this was a bad idea or nobody had anything to say about like why this wouldn't work.
Yeah.
And so sometimes it is you have the insight that could potentially change something. And so don't chase that. Like, my end would be to the respect part is also don't chase validation so much because if you're chasing validation, who knows what you're gonna end up doing just to get that validation. And unfortunately it's gonna feel good in the moment and then you're gonna go home, and when you lay down in bed by yourself, you're not gonna have any of that. It's better if you like build yourself up and know who you are.
Like, who would you want to be validated by too, right? Like, think about like, who are the people, like, people often say like, I do it for my mom, I do it for my dad, I do it for my family, I do it for the culture, right? But like, who really are the people behind that, and like, why does that matter? I think it's important, sure, if it's true to your values and what you really want, but like, really at the end of the day, I do it for Jesus Christ, my Lord and Savior.
I just thought about a personal thing of mine. I think I struggle with validation when it came to friendships and relationships. And the reason being is, I know this was manipulation, but I didn't know it then. Mm-hmm. And it would really get to me whenever somebody would turn around and say like, you don't even love me.
Ew.
Or,
oh God, I'm getting trauma.
You don't even love me. Or like, you know, it was never real to begin with. And like, yeah, everybody leaves me. You're going to leave too. Like things like that. Right. And it's like, you're really not a good person. There was this guy that I was with. Oof. And low-key, I think we ended up like hating each other. Yeah. But he would always get mad at me because he just couldn't. I was a little bit older at the time. Definitely not old enough where I should have walked away. But he couldn't always get his way. He did get his way, but he couldn't always get his way. And then the times so he couldn't get his way with me is the times like he would throw out things like, you're not even this, you're not even that. And it would bother me so much. And I think throughout a very long stage in my 20s, it would always bother me to get that feedback, because I was like, no, I am an incredible person. I have the biggest heart. Like everything I've done is genuine. And it would really bother me when I would get this response back that I wasn't that. Mm-hmm. And that's what kept me in those situations when I wanted to walk away. Because it's almost like I couldn't walk away, letting him think that I was this bad person.
I feel that.
And I really, that's when I had to like learn all these things about like detaching, let go of the outcome, don't be so tied up with the outcome. Because nowadays, if somebody looks at me and it's like, yeah, I know you have a roster of 10 people. I know like your phone is blowing up. I know you be doing this. I know you be doing that. And like low-key, I'm like, if you only knew how boring my life was. Now I'm just that person where it's like, you think I have 10? No, I have 20. Knowing I have none.
Yeah. Wow.
I don't care what you think. Like, okay, I'm not even gonna like, I'm even to the point where I don't argue back.
Okay, that's a good one. I didn't think about my
whatever
own.
They want.
Yeah, I think that was a big issue for me. Now, I didn't even... Wow.
Because I sleep good at night. I know who I am.
I did not think of that. I think, and this is, it's not even with significant others. It was in general. Like anytime somebody would tell me I'm lying and I knew I wasn't, like truthfully, or like somebody would tell me something and I knew their information was wrong, like I would take that to heart, and I would be the one to like throw a tantrum. And what would piss me off is like everybody always says like, oh, they're guilty. If they react, they're guilty. And it's like, no, I'm reacting because I'm so passionate that I'm not.
Because you're lying on me.
And you're lying on me. How are you gonna lie on me? Or you don't even know. You don't even know. Exactly. And oh my God, that would like, I'm better now. Because now it's like, you know what? Think what you want.
Yeah.
Jesus knows. That's my quote today. Everything's Jesus. Like, sure. Yeah. But that was very hard for me.
Very hard.
Very hard. And I forgot about that. That is triggering like another memory or something that I think is a lesson when you're in your 20s. And they say now it's not so much with like this new generation that they're not really like drinking and stuff. That wasn't us. That wasn't the millennials. But it's like, be careful when you are out. Like you don't need alcohol to have a good time, or you don't need excessive amounts of alcohol. Why do you need a pregame 3 hours before you're going out and then go to an afters? You don't need to do that. You need your rest. You need your sleep. Don't drink so much alcohol. Your skin will love you for it. Like
it's better for your body.
It's better for your body. And then like it's no fun. It will
get you fat.
It's no fun the next day if you have the like, I don't remember, or oh my God, I'm so embarrassed. And then people are sending videos or pictures of you. It's like not a good feeling. Don't
We were the generation though,
Save
where
yourself.
we would drink and still show up to work at 8 a.m. like
Yes,
nothing
terrible.
happened and do it all over again that night. But I would say, like, without going too much into detail, just because some of it I think is just, it's hard to talk about, but it's also hard to think about. To that, I would say the part where I was like, girls, be careful, is because you also want to observe and pay attention to the men who are gonna be feeding you alcohol and pushing you to drink.
Yeah.
And I used to be around a lot of men that were like this, which I think it was a little predatory, to be honest, because the girls that were usually around were younger girls, and this were like a little bit older men. And when I talked about older men, that could be subjective, right? But they're like, we're talking about 5 years and up. If you got 5 years on somebody or more, you can sway them,
especially if they're in their early 20s.
yes, you can sway them.
Yeah.
And so we used to be in functions and things outside of work, and they would just play these like drinking games, and they were always like, buy the girls all the drinks, but then they would push the girls to drink a lot. And I think like I ended up in positions where that was the case for me, and I didn't catch on to it because I literally, it was never in my mind that people were just trying to do it with like a second intention. But I think as I found myself in situations that were embarrassing, in situations where I have no recollection of things that transpired, I started to question myself to begin with, because I was like, well, what am I doing? But then like once I started changing certain behaviors, I started also seeing things from a different lens, and I was like, oh, that's also one of the reasons why like I'm not really much into drinking, besides the fact that I feel like it got me a little crazy sometimes.
Yeah.
It's really nothing to it.
There's nothing to it. It's not. It's really not. And also, like, you have to know your body too. Like, I think, unfortunately, it takes you getting drunk or excessively drinking to know what kind of drunk you are, right? And so from there, you have to know what people can respect those boundaries when you're like, no, I'm good at 2 drinks and I'm capped. I'm not doing shots. I'm not doing that. And if they can't respect that is your sign.
Yeah.
Don't put yourself in compromising situations. Be smart. Always be alert. When I was in my 20s, I never shared my location with anybody.
Yeah.
That wasn't a thing.
We didn't have that.
That wasn't a thing, but like I do think it is worthwhile having somebody have your location, whoever that person is for you. But I do think
share your information. Like,
it's helpful.
I wouldn't recommend going home with complete strangers, just because nowadays I feel like we see more women get killed, and men actually. Like there's like the whole thing in Chicago with all the men in their 20s like ended up dead or in the river or whatever. So it's really no longer a female thing. It could be anyone, right? But if you are going to like share with your girlfriend's information, like share his name, his picture, the cab, like share information. Try to stay in your group.
Don't be sneaky.
Don't deviate. Yeah,
don't
like,
be sneaky, y'all.
Don't leave anyone behind.
Yeah.
Make sure everybody gets home safe. They have a way home. If your friend is driving drunk and they're dropping you off and like they shouldn't be driving, like
don't let them
don't let them get behind the wheel, or like call them an Uber or have them stay over to your house, or make sure you call them so that they're not falling asleep on the wheel. Just make sure that they get home okay, because you wouldn't want that on your conscience. Nobody would want that on your conscience, but you also want to look out for your friends. So like, especially with women, right? Because I feel like we're the ones who are more at risk and we're more vulnerable, so to speak. Stay in your groups when you go out, like have a plan, like don't drink, watch each other's drinks. Somebody goes to the bathroom, make sure nobody's putting anything in their drinks. Like every time you hold your drink and there's space between your fingers, somebody can literally slide a pill and like do something to you. Like once you leave, you put your drink down, you shouldn't go back and have the same drink. Order a new drink.
Yeah, 1000%. I feel like the other stuff I feel like that could almost, I don't even think it's not even a 20s thing. I feel like that's something I'm learning that's the family portion and the etiquette stuff. So I feel like the family one is a whole episode on its own.
For sure.
So I'm gonna hold this because I wrote them, but if I'm thinking about it, this is not something I learned in my 20s. This is something I learned within the last few years in my 30s. It took the experiences of my 20s, but it took my 30s to sit and analyze and go through and be like, that's what that was. So I think I'm going to save anything family related for another episode when we get into family, because that's going to be a loaded episode. And then etiquette stuff, I mean, I don't know if that should be another episode, like the do's and don'ts of parties or events or dinners, or
we can make that a thing.
I feel like that could be another one.
We can make that a thing.
That could be even like red flag, green flag.
Yeah,
for me, because I have many thoughts.
I want to close because I just thought about this. I'm gonna close on this, and I hope nobody takes this personal. I hope it doesn't trigger you. I hope you don't think that I'm coming from anyone in particular, because these are just my thoughts and opinions. But I will say this, like, if you're a young woman in her early 20s or maybe mid 20s or any age, and I hate the word daddy issues, but if you are dealing with any things from your past, whether it was because your father it was caused by your father, a father figure, a mother figure, anybody in your family that might have hurt you, might have made you feel like love was conditional, or you had to be performative to get love, like any sort of issue or anything that might have broken or have you broken as an adult, right? My advice would be to seek some sort of resolution. Fix that within yourself, however that looks like for you, before you end
trickle over.
Yes, because I feel like that could just be a snowball effect of you making a whole bunch of mistakes that could have been avoidable, because you're avoiding that part of yourself. You're avoiding facing that mirror. You're avoiding looking at who you truly are. And like, maybe it's the fear of like, am I going to hate myself? Am I really going to like what I see back? Or like how fearful you are to even face some of the things that happen to you. Because for some people, it's really just fear of facing it. So fix that within yourself. And I would also add this, and I hope nobody kills me for it. Maybe some people will. I might even add to say, fix it before you get married with somebody. Yeah. So you don't push it onto them. And so you don't make another person feel like they have to fix that for you, because it's not their responsibility to fix. And before you, I'm going to say it like this. If you can't even make the right choice for yourself, if you don't have a child, you can even make the right choices of yourself right now to pick a good partner and a man that will respect you and do right by you now, and maybe you want to have a kid and you can't even do that for yourself now, what's going to happen when you bring a kid into the world? And anything can happen, right? Because the part about be careful with your choices, because they could change the course of your whole life. One of those things is, what if you get pregnant?
A child won't change man.
A child won't change
fix the situation.
Won't change anything about
erase
you.
Your past.
Yes. And then at the same time, it's like some people think that they're ready, but they're not ready. And I'm not here saying that I am, and I'm not here pointing the finger at anybody that's not ready. But I'm just saying, like, I know within myself, like I would want to fix anything that's wrong with me before I even start a family, because my idea of the type of mother that I want to be and how I want to raise my children and the type of life that I want to give them and the type of quality life that I think that they deserve, the very least that I can do for them is make sure that I'm not pushing my trauma onto them.
Yeah. Amen, sister. Don't do anything that's going to make you grow up faster than you're ready for. Don't give yourself more responsibilities than you can handle.
Facts. Yes. We love you.
Yes. Thank you for watching.